All right. Yes. Yes, it's true. I have shorts on. Yes, it's true. Thank you. I want to go on record. I want to go on record and say I have been this hairy even when I was in my mother's womb, all right? So I get it. I look like a walking chia pet. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Thank you very much. Hey, are you excited about today? 3 tennis legends in the house. We want to introduce them to you. Have a seat real quickly. We want to introduce them to you one by one with a little scissor reel. First up, come on, former #1 tennis player in the world, Andy Roddick is in the house. Let's watch this video.
Andy Roddick became the #1 ranked junior in the world in the year 2000. In 2003, he became ranked as the world #1 and became a Grand Slam singles champion. He finished in the top 10 of the ATP rankings for 9 straight years. Over his career, he's won 32 singles titles. He's known for his devastating serve, which has been timed as high as 155 miles per hour. This year, he was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame.
Everybody, come on, put your hands together. Andy Roddick! So honored to have you. Thanks for being here, Andy. All right, next up, we have French Open champion Michael Chang in the house. Put your hands together for him. Let's watch this video.
Michael Chang stepped onto the scene early, winning his first national title at age 12. At 15, he became the youngest player to win a main draw match at the US Open. At 17, he won the 1989 French Open, becoming the youngest male player ever to win a Grand Slam title. Over his career, he won 34 singles titles. In 1996, he reached his career best rank of world #2. He was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 2008.
Come on, put your hands together for the great Michael Chang, everybody. Such an honor to have you here. Thanks for being here, Michael. And then, of course, last but not least, the iconic legend, the man himself, John McEnroe, everybody. Come on, let's watch this.
John McEnroe established himself as a force to be reckoned with from the very beginning. As an 18-year-old amateur, he won his first of 17 major titles in Paris. Over his career, he won 155 ATP titles, the highest men's combined total of the open era. He's been the top-ranked player in the world for both singles and doubles, and remained a member of the world top 10 for 10 years. He was inducted in the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1999.
Come on, let's welcome John McEnroe to the house. So honored to have him here. Hey, John. Man, it's an honor to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with John McEnroe right off the bat. I mean, not just a tennis legend, but really as a commentator, you've become quite the voice for tennis. A lot of people recognize you as just in a second chapter of just being, again, a commentator and a voice. Take us back. What are some highlights of your career? What are some moments as you look back that you really think as those just crossroad moments that just catapulted you to the next level?
Well, first of all, how many people here know who I am?
Oh, they know you.
How many people know who I am from being a commentator or a tennis player?
They actually saw you in Mr. Deeds.
That's what my next question was. How many people know you from my acting work? I'm kidding. Actually, when I was 18 years old, which I guess a fair amount of people here are that age, I went to Europe for the first time and played Wimbledon for the first time and made it through to the semifinals, and that completely changed my life. And after that, I had some memorable moments at Wimbledon and the US Open were probably 2 of the most. Playing Bjorn Borg, we had an epic match back in 1980, long before anyone in this room was born. And I continued to be able to play at some big events there, and also the Davis Cup, which I don't know if people know. I had some great moments playing for my country. Thank you. And unfortunately, the Davis Cup doesn't have the same allure that it used to. So recently, I just was a captain in a thing called the Laver Cup, which I think has great promise for the future. I'm hopeful that that's going to become an important event in the tennis calendar.
Yeah, you bet. We've actually got a little bit of video about that match in 1980 and the 81 that really brought you into just superstar, status. Let's watch this real quick together. Wow. 16-18, right? That was that.
18-16, yeah. I thought I had it after that because he had won 4 straight, and I thought he was going to get depressed and down and maybe give in a little bit, and that I had the momentum, and he showed me what a true, great champion. He dug deep and found another gear, and somehow he pulled it out. But luckily, thank you for mentioning, even though we didn't see we did see the highlight of me winning in the next year.
You took him the next year?
I like that one better.
Yeah. You took him the next year, and then he walked out, and he hasn't really played much since. You retired the man.
Well, I don't know if that's totally true. I wish he had kept playing. I love playing against him. The great rivals make each other better. So that, to me, was one of the things that was so great about playing against him. And for years, I kept trying to tell him to come back. I missed him. But I love him. So it's good. We're still friends.
Maybe he'll come to Liberty. We'd love to have him at Liberty.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have the great Bjorn Borg. Andy, man, former #1 tennis player in the world. You won the Davis Cup for us. Tell us, when you look back at your career, tell us what are some of the most memorable moments? I know you've had a lot of incredible moments, but what is one moment that really stands out to you?
You mentioned Davis Cup, and John alluded to it earlier. When I was growing up, a huge moment for me, not during my career, but when I was a tennis fan, was the 1992 Davis Cup final. It was in Dallas-Fort Worth. I got to go with my tennis club. Took a bunch of kids up there, and it was based on how we did in tennis practice if we tried, and I got there somehow. Obviously, it wasn't based on on-court behavior. But I saw Johnny Mack, Pete Sampras, Jim Courier, and Andre Agassi, and how good is that team where guys like McEnroe and Sampras were the doubles team? They weren't playing the singles, and so that just absolutely blew my mind. It made me want to play Davis Cup. So to fast forward to the last time the U.S. has won was in 2007, and I was a part of that great team. And the U.S. Open was amazing. Getting to #1 was amazing, but that all happened so quick. In Davis Cup, we took our losses for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So to kind of finally have that moment with guys who ended up being lifelong friends of mine was pretty cool.
Man, we've got this video clip of the moment when you retired. This was obviously years after you hit #1, and you got to kind of be home in New York City when you got to say thank you and show gratitude to a lot of people that mean a lot to you. Let's watch this, and I want to get some of your thoughts. Yeah. Pretty honest, revealing moment. So, you've had this incredible career. Agassi actually called singles tennis the loneliest of all the sports, but then you stop and you kind of look back and think about all the people that really just helped you along the way. Any thoughts on that? Any more insight into that moment?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, and I don't know that I have it figured out yet. It is an individual sport, but I think we all need people around us to help us get to that place. I know John had many great minds that worked with him. I know Harry Hopman early on, and then various coaches throughout his career. I know Michael was very close with his family. His brother Carl had a big impact on his career, and we all have those people who maybe aren't the ones front and center in the highlight package that you saw earlier, but I certainly leaned on a bunch of people from when I was a kid to when I was a pro, and post-career also. It's no different than a lot of you needing that support system. It's just that we're out in front of the cameras and have maybe a couple more eyeballs on us.
Michael, speaking of just this lonely sport, I mean, you take this game where, and people sometimes push back and say, well, maybe boxing is the lonely sport, but they get to go, and sit on a bench and get coached and get encouraged and get, you guys are just out here and there's no coaching inside of a match. On top of that, add the fact that you were just a sold out, born again believer who loved the Lord in a sport that isn't necessarily always known for strong elements of faith. What's that been like for you? We'd love to hear. What's it like as a believer to be in that and be salt and light and
Yeah, I mean, in certain aspects, it wasn't easy. I think on a couple of levels. One, there weren't a whole lot of Christians, certainly out on tour. There weren't a whole lot of Asians as well. So, I think, but I think the great thing about playing out on tour is that we have tennis players from all different walks of life. They're from all different parts of the world, all different cultures, all different languages. And I think because of that, everyone has a very, very high level of respect for everybody, no matter where they're coming from. I certainly felt like, for me, obviously I'm trying to go out there and play the absolute best tennis that I can play, but at the same time, I'm trying to be a salt and light, like you said, for Christ. And, it meant that, I'm certainly out there trying to show love off the court, but I mean, hey, in tennis, I'm trying to show love on the court as well. If I can beat the guy 6-love, hey, I'm going to do it. Isn't that the best way to do it? So, but it's been, it's been a fun journey, and I'm so thankful for the talent that was given to me, and I've had a lot of fun along the way.
The French Open moment, where obviously no one saw that coming, and it wasn't even the final, right, against Edberg who was the final? I can't remember.
Final was Edberg, and Lendl was the round of 16.
Round 16, number one player in the world, Yvonne Lendl at that time. I think in the fifth set, you were tired, you were cramped, all this stuff was just going against you, and then you had an idea that was very surprising, I think, to your opponent. Let's watch this, and I'd love to get some of your thoughts on it. Andy said, man, I love that. That was about as good as it gets right there. That little underhand. Amazing. Oh, some thoughts on that whole tournament and what it did for your career?
The tournament was incredible. I think during that period of time, it was actually a very down time for Chinese people around the world. The middle Sunday, actually, the situation in Tiananmen happened. So the crackdown happened where many thousands of students lost their lives in Tiananmen Square. And so certainly if I was not out there playing my match or practicing, I was watching the TV, glued to the events that are happening up there. I think, this tournament really changed my life in many ways. God taught me some incredible lessons. Probably the biggest lesson that I learned was actually in that match with Yvonne Lendl. I was cramping very severely, and actually at 2-1 in the fifth, I was starting to think to myself, who am I kidding here? I'm not going to win this match. I'm 17 years old. I'm playing against the number one player in the world. He's a 3-time French Open champion. I'm cramping. I can't move, which is really my greatest asset out there. What's the difference whether I just quit and just call it a day or finish the match and lose? Either way, I lose. So I'm thinking, it's not that bad of a day, How many 17-year-olds get a chance to say, wow, I took the number one player in the world to 5 sets. I get a pat on the back in the locker room, get a couple nice write-ups in the media. That's a pretty good day. So at 2-1, I started to actually walk toward the chair umpire, and I actually got to the service line. And believe it or not, I had an unbelievable conviction from God. At that point, it dawned on me, and it was almost like Lord was telling me, Michael, what are you doing here? Do you realize that if you quit now, every circumstance that you have that's similar situation, whether it's on the court or off the court, if you quit the first time, the second, third, fourth, fifth time that it happens, you're going to quit again. It's going to become easier and easier and easier. And so I said, okay, all right, Lord, I'm just going to leave the winning and losing up to you. And whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to take things point by point. And strangely enough, as this match went on, my goal was basically to go out and to finish that race, finish the match. That was my goal. And so I started to go and I hit moon balls, and strangely enough, Yvonne started hitting moon balls back. And I just started going for shots and, go for this one, go for that one. All of a sudden, they all started going in. So points started turning into games started turning into the set. Before I know it, I've won the match, I'm on my back. And Lord brings me through 3 other really, really tough matches. And it finally dawned on me that when the tournament was done, I realized that the French Open in '89 was not about Michael Chang becoming the youngest male Grand Slam champion, but the Lord really used it to put a smile upon Chinese people's faces during a time in which there wasn't a whole lot to smile about. And I started to definitely understand a lot, to a much greater degree, that tennis and sports, you have a platform to be able to certainly showcase your talent, but at the same time, to be able to touch lives and to impact hearts becomes a lot more important because it lasts for a much longer period than your own career.
For Danan, yeah, it's amazing. For the non-tennis fans in the room, the French Open is a 2-week tournament, and Michael is talking about how that very middle of the tournament, that Sunday, is when Tiananmen Square happened, and so the whole world was paying attention to China, and here you were, just in the middle of that tournament, being able to, just like you said, bring a lot of hope to the people of that nation. That's incredible. John, you are known not just for a guy who had a TV show and a guy who's always just a voice for tennis and a guy who's a bit of a rock star in a lot of different facets, but you're kind of known for your temper a little bit, your tantrums that you've thrown in years past, long time ago.
Do I have to show one in the match tonight, or is that okay?
Someone told me.
Yeah?
Someone told me it's literally in the rider that like tonight, people come expecting John McEnroe to beat John McEnroe, and so like you're going to have to
I'll be ushered out of the stadium within the first few games, I think, if that happened. Will you promise to allow me to stay no matter what happens?
Yes, we will let you stay no matter what.
We have cameras here. Okay.
I want to show the Stockholm moment. And as people are watching this, I want you to know he wins this match. He doesn't lose it. This is strategy at its very best. Watch this. John.
I thought you said I was better known for my tennis.
What is the psyche behind that? I mean, honestly, like you've got like probably one of the most gentle-spirited guys on the tour, kind of in the middle, has had his moments, and then I'd love to hear the psyche behind that kind of a competitive edge and what's happening when you guys are trying to just sometimes even kill a little time, right?
How much time do we have in this Q&A? Because this I feel like we should move into psychiatrist's office.
Actually, the danger is that when John gets upset, when everybody else gets upset, they play worse. When John McEnroe gets upset, he actually plays better. So it's in your best interest to actually keep him calm. So,
thank you, Michael.
Don't awaken the beast.
He is a gentle soul. The psyche behind it is probably completely wrong, but absolutely feeling like the umpires and the linesmen were out to get me. That's where it started. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but I felt like they were very incompetent. And then it gets to pure where I lose it, and there's that fine line between, frustration and anger, and then feeling like even I, despite what you saw in that particular clip, don't want to feel like you've lost control. You still feel like you're in control. Now, it turned out when I hit those cups in the water that one of the cups hit the king of Sweden, who was sitting in the first row. But the good news is it turned out he was a fan of mine. It's okay. He was a little hot under the collar also. And then when I stood up at the end, it was as if to say, well, if you're going to default me, default me. If you think that what I just did was that egregious or that bad by doing that. Because I had, well, this is a long story, but I had just met my future ex-wife.
Tatum O'Neal.
That's correct. And at the time, I thought that maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if I was defaulted so I could go back and see her. But it turns out I wasn't defaulted, and I ended up winning the tournament. I don't know what the moral of that story is. Could you help me out with that, please? I mean,
different thought processes between the '89 French Open and the Stockholm tournament that you played.
Little bit different between '84 and '89 there.
The moral of that story is
just make sure the king of
we've
Sweden.
all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And if you're going to hit a king, hit the one from Sweden. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't ever show up for a fight anyway, right? So we're good.
Oh!
They're better than the French, though. Hey, Andy.
Where's the drum roll?
Hey, speaking of...
Any Swedes in the audience?
Speaking of...
I gotta be honest, I didn't think you were gonna say the most controversial thing today.
Oh, no, the day is young.
Now we're getting somewhere.
The day is young. So speaking of showing up for a fight, what is happening with men's tennis in the U.S.? I mean, I know the women have really stepped up. I mean, goodness, all four semis were women. You know, they were American in the U.S. Open this last time. You talked about a healthy jealousy.
Sure.
You know, where the men are just starting to get hungry for, man, honestly, a good kind of competition between the men from the United States that are rising up. You were the last guy to win a major. You were, the U.S., the Davis Cup. We've been struggling. Can you talk to us about just the state of affairs in men's tennis in the U.S.?
I'm glad you separated the two, because the question I normally get is, what's wrong with American tennis? I go, we need to be specific, because the women are doing amazing, and Venus and Serena have carried the flag for 15 years. I don't know. I kind of walk between different opinions on what's wrong. I think one is the shadow created by the guys to my left is not an easy thing to deal with. I was kind of in the shadow of the Rushmore of American men's tennis during my career, and I was lucky. I talked about it in my Hall of Fame speech. It was a responsibility that made me better, because it was so precious to me, especially idolizing these guys growing up. I hope the younger players feel that responsibility. I'm not sure if they do. I also think there's probably a sense of entitlement a little bit. If you look at someone like a Novak Djokovic, or you hear stories of Ana Ivanovic, where she learned how to play tennis in the bottom of a pool that didn't have any water in it. And that's a different kind of mindset than a talented junior player from this country, where the worst case scenario is going to a beautiful university and being a popular guy on campus for 4 years. So wherever that hunger needs to come from, I just feel like maybe it's lost a little bit. I will give credit to some of the younger players. I think we have, I equate kind of the minor league system in tennis to, I'd say U.S. has a very, very, very strong farm system right now, as it would equate to baseball. I think we have 10, 12, 15 guys that are under 21 in the top 200 in the world. And you mentioned the healthy jealousy. I hope that Francis Tiafoe wins a tournament, and then Tommy Paul goes, wait a minute, I beat that guy last week in practice. And then it's kind of this downhill snowball that we haven't had for a while. I think it's tough to point at one guy and say he's going to be the guy to fix U.S. tennis. I hope that there's a bunch of them. You can kind of create a cavalry. I'm sure that when John's friend Jimmy won a Grand Slam, he's going, wait a minute, I don't want that guy to have some of my shine. I'm the guy. I want to be the American guy. And similar with Michael and his generation, I'm sure they all pushed each other. So I'm glad that there's strength in numbers right now with our younger players, and I hope that the rhetoric will be different around this conversation in 3 or 4 years.
But you guys transcended the game. People that didn't necessarily watch tennis became Michael Chang fan, because you were 17, you were just out there, you beat, Yvonne Lendl in the 4th round, the stuff you were beyond with Borg and Connors, and just people were watching who you were dating in People magazine. It feels like some of the personality's gone, Michael, and some of those people that people want to just follow. Are you pretty hopeful with where American tennis is headed in the next few years?
Well, I mean, like Andy said, obviously, Venus and Serena have been unbelievable. Now, look at this year's U.S. Open, Madison Keys and Sloane Stephens. I think there's, like Andy said, this next crop of young male American players is extremely talented. We actually haven't seen this kind of talent for quite some time, since Andy's generation. Although, Isner has been doing well, Stevie Johnson has been doing well. This next crop has been great, and they've already been starting to feed off of each other's success. And about 3 years ago, they were dominating the junior tour. They were winning, the Junior French Open, Junior Wimbledon's, and I think those are all really, really great signs. And I hope that they get the kind of mentorship that I think will help them to continue to grow and continue to get better and better. Because obviously, when you're out there playing on the main tour, it is different than playing in juniors and in collegiate level. But they're gaining the experience. They're winning matches. They're winning tough matches, and little by little, they're gaining confidence.
Could I add just 2 quick things? One would be that in a one-on-one game, you mentioned personality, and we've lost. I think that the powers that be try to stifle that to some degree. Made it more difficult for the fan to get to know the player on a certain level. And I think that was a big problem in our sport, and moving forward, we need to reach out and try to grab fans, because I think the game is a tremendous game. Look what's happened. I mean, I love American football. It's an incredible game. All right, relax back there, will you? But you can see the psychological and physical damage that it's done. I just spent the weekend with a couple of my old buddies from college that played in the NFL. Great guys. They can barely walk, these guys, and they're worried about their brains. It's absolutely horrible in a certain way. And tennis, in a lot of ways, builds character, makes you be able to help make decisions on your own, to learn about life and how to cope with losing, and to benefit, to learn from it. And so that we should be out there telling the parents and making the game accessible and more affordable, so that more kids can do that and they at least have an option. I mean, I love football. I don't want it to go away, but, you know, tennis is a great option.
Absolutely. It's great. One final little clip that involves both of you. Speaking of like days where American tennis players were just, on the male side, were just complete rock stars, you got to host SNL, right? And we want to show this one. You got to be a part of that, John. Let's watch this, and then we're going to go down and play some tennis here in a minute. All right, so speaking of Battle of the Sexes, John, your new book came out. It's amazing, by the way. Love the new book. But you were doing an NPR plug for the book, and this lady asked you the question. You were certainly not trying to compare apples and oranges, but you said that the Williams sisters were iconic. You said that Serena was the greatest female player of all time, and she pushed back and said, why not just the greatest player of all time? You said, what are you talking about? And then you talked. And tell us a little bit about that. And
do I have to?
Please.
Well, I guess the truth is that for whatever reason, I'm the whipping boy for the person that should play against Serena if they were to play a guy. I mean, there's thousands of people, both retired and present, playing that would perhaps relish the chance, or maybe they wouldn't, to play Serena Williams.
But as colorful as you, I don't think so.
But I guess they were hoping I'm going to hit that cup over, hit the cup on the King of Sweden again or something if I lose her serve. But somehow it's always been bandied about. It's never something that I wanted, but I've only defended myself, sir, to say that I believe that I could win if by some chance we did play. I apologize for all concerns for even saying that. I'm sorry. And so, therefore, it became this issue because I came up with a number that was, so it was something that now, to me, Serena is a tremendous champion, and maybe it'd be best if we never played.
But but I think the thing about that is you never even asked to play her or wanted to. Somebody's asking to compare the two, and you're just being honest to say those two sports are very different. And for a female to play a male in that game, I mean, if you put them all in the same pool, obviously it'd be just very unfair and difficult, right, in one sense?
Well, I'll jump in just because I feel like so Serena's one of my best friends in life. I mean, I absolutely love Serena Williams. No one loves them more than I do. I've known them since I was 7 years old. But to ask Johnny Mac, who's a better tennis player between Roger Federer and Serena Williams if they played, and we're not bringing anything into the equation, I think is just an unfair, it's a lose some answer. So I do think it is a little unfair that Mac kind of gets put there, and we crave honesty. If we feel like an athlete's being disingenuous or not giving us an honest answer, we criticize. And when we have an athlete that doesn't kind of fit into the echo chamber of what we want to hear, then we criticize. So it's not really a fair question. And to Mac's credit, I think the reason why he is the guy that people point to for the next Battle of the Sexes is because he still plays amazingly well. I'll be a schmuck when I'm, what are you, like 74 now?
58, right?
Thank you. 58.
No, but I think that's the reason why that question keeps resurfacing. And also you talked about American personalities, and do we need personalities in tennis, and let's not pretend like tennis isn't a business. So if we have someone like Johnny Mac and that star power against Serena and her star power, that's the event that people would want to see. So unfortunately, I don't think that question's going anywhere. But to be fair, that was during a book tour, so you had to have sold more books because of all of that.
I think it backfired. You know, in 2000, I was commentating a match at the U.S. Open. And I was given a letter in the booth, and I opened the letter, and it said, "I will offer you $1 million to play either of the Williams sisters." And it was signed by Donald J. Trump, now the President of the United States of America.
He is?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I said, that's a good start.
You could have given that money to charity.
But just for the record, and we have cameras on here. If I ever played Serena Williams, and I've said this before, all the money would go to charity.
So let's make that happen. I bet the president's still good for $1 million check. We give all the money to missions, and Michael can determine what mission organizations that'll be. Is that cool?
There you go.
You don't even get to decide what charity it goes to, John.
I don't even get to decide what surface it's played on.
Hey, do you guys want to see these great legends play a little tennis before we walk out of here? Real quick. So we're right on time here. Tell us about tonight. I mean, obviously, we're just, I know you got to warm up, and so right now you're just going to, like, dink a little bit with a couple of us, but tell us about tonight. What are we expecting tonight? What's so awesome about this? Even for non-tennis fans, they don't want to miss this. By the way, Liberty students get in for $10, which is just unheard of in the Power Share series, so that's an awesome gift from them. Well, what's going to happen tonight when we come in here?
Michael?
Yeah, we have a great format. The one guy that's missing tonight is James Blake. He's going to be here
tonight. The great James Blake will be with us tonight as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great format. We have two guys play two semifinals, one set. So I'll play against John. Andy will play against James first, and then the two winners will play a one-set final. So it's been great. If you notice the little Geico lizards, we call our own shots. So John's going to be calling all of his own calls tonight. Normally we do have Hawkeye, so if we challenge and he's wrong, then
people can boo.
Then people can boo. So, but it's been great. It's been a lot of fun for us, and certainly been fun for the people to come out and watch. And yeah, I hope you guys can make it.
Yeah. We may be mic'd. I think we are mic'd. We were mic'd. And it's one set formats. You know, that's good for the older guys. Less is more.
This is the Power Shares series. Everyone's an older guy.
Well, that's true, too. Compared to the people that are here right now.
Well, the whole community's coming out. It's going to be a fun night. Again, you can get tickets. Make sure you grab them. Liberty students, they're only $10. Power Shares has been super gracious in doing that. We're all going to be out here. And I have asked President Falwell to come and play a little tennis, and a couple of folks from our team as well. Come on, let's go down there and play about 5-6 minutes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play a little bit of King of the Hill, all right? Guys, come on down. Andy has, thank you. All right. Andy is going to play as well. Come on, everybody, put your hands together for, come on, your president, my president, first time in shorts.
I don't know what David's gotten me into, but I will say they were talking about how ladies tennis is doing so well. I went and watched the skeet shooting team practice the other day, and the girls were out shooting the guys 10-1. I couldn't believe it. So guys, you need to step it up. All right, here we go.
So here's what I think we'll do. We'll play King of the Hill, which means we'll play 1 point. And so I know you guys didn't warm up, so you don't have to serve if you don't want to. But can we start, Michael, you against John? We'll just play 1 point, and then the winner of that point stays on. Then the next challenger will come on, and then the challenger will start, and then the winner just continues to stay on as King of the Hill. Does that sound good? All right, come on, everybody, give it up for Michael Chang, John McEnroe. No, that point didn't count. No, you have to do a little warm up. You ready? Oh. did you? That wasn't very Christ-like, Michael Chang. All right, next challenger. Come on, everybody. President Falwell against the great Michael Chang. Come on in, Jerry. All right. So you're playing 1 point, King of the Hill. The winner stays on. That was out. No, one more time. That was out. I saw that out. President Falwell. All right, next up, let's see if the Duck Dynasty family can hold some water. Come on, everybody, give it up for Mary Kay against the great Michael Chang. That's so good. All right. Is Dylan around? Where's Dylan? Dylan, come on up and play Michael Chang. Our former #1, now our shepherd on staff. Come on, Dylan. You're one of our great hopes here. Give it up for Dylan, everybody. Michael, you can go for it with him. Where's John McEnroe? Come on out, John. Come on, play Dylan, John. Dylan's King of the Hill. Let's go. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. You can't be serious. All right, Carla Nava, where are you? Give it up for Carla, everybody. Shepherd on campus. Played tennis at the college level. All right, Carla. Battle of the sexes right here. That's a double fault. That's a double fault. You're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. All right. Let's see President Falwell. Come on out, Jerry, if you don't mind, one more time. You know y'all want to see him play one more time. Carla, this man signs your checks, so no problem, all right? No pressure. You ready? That was out. Nice, nice. All right, next up is our tennis coach here in the house. He's not here, all right. Oh, he is? We can't actually have, there you go. Come on out, coach. Come on. Oh, he's got his khakis on and everything. I can't play. This is not Davis Cup. This is not Davis Cup. All right, coach, no warm up. You ready? Go, Carla. Oh! Oh, coach, that's dirty. That's dirty. Come on, give it up. That's our brand new coach. By the way, he just had a baby, everybody. Come on, congratulate him. We're so glad you're here. All right, let's get the great Michael Chang out here just one more time. Come on, Michael, would you come on out? Michael Chang, would you just come on out just for a second? Come on out, Michael. Michael, come on out. Josh Rutledge, come on. Give it up for Josh Rutledge, everybody. Michael, he's been talking trash about you all morning. He said, if I'm gonna take one pro, it will be Michael Chang. That's what he said. Here we go. John, you're next. All right, I think that's about it. John McEnroe, come on out one last time. Oh, okay, I'll play. All right, here. Carla, you may come. All right, tonight is gonna be amazing. These guys are dinking. You do not wanna miss tonight. Have fun. God bless you guys. Come on, let's thank John McEnroe one more time. Tennis legend, Michael Chang, Andy Roddick, James Blake will also be joining. You're dismissed. We'll see you tonight.